We're back with Transfer Rate. Alexis Nunes here with Mark Ogden. Ogden, we love tackling some transfer rumors and trying to predict what's going to happen this summer. Some interesting ones popping up right now. Let's start off with none other than Martin Odegaard to Liverpool. Yes, the Real Madrid man on loan at Arsenal right now, but I think people have been reading into an interaction he had with Jurgen Klopp after Liverpool beat Arsenal last weekend. So, do you think this would make sense?
Yeah, I think it would make sense. I mean, let's not use Jurgen Klopp hugging Martin Odegaard as a kind of a secret tip that transfer is going to happen. I think, but let's look at it on the basis that Liverpool have got a midfield that probably needs some younger, fresher legs. He's a player that they could probably get on a decent deal from Real Madrid, and Liverpool like to do deals that are considered bargain deals, or deals that are good economical sense. And he's done well at Arsenal, Odegaard, but Arsenal are looking like they're going to have to win the Europa League to actually qualify for the Champions League next season, even Europe. So moving to Arsenal might not appeal to Odegaard as much as it might have done. So, Liverpool, big club, great club, Champions League winners recently, Premier League winners. I think for Martin Odegaard, it'd be a fantastic move. And I think for Liverpool, yeah, they do need to look at lowering the average age of their midfield. So it's a deal. It's a move you could see happening, but I'm not sure it's rooted in the strongest evidence beyond Klopp hugging you after the final whistle.
Well, speaking of squads that have been, I suppose, slightly criticized for having an aging squad, even though they do have quite a bunch of bright youngsters right now, that's Barcelona. However, now they're linked with Angel Di Maria. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, well, obviously Angel Di Maria's got a very decorated past at Real Madrid, so it might be an interesting move for Di Maria to make. But we know that Di Maria's had his difficulties in Paris recently with his family home being burgled, and the similar thing happened at Man United. That unsettled him to the extent that he wanted to leave. So if he's been unsettled to the point he wants to leave Paris, then it's going to take a big club to take him away. He'll be on big wages. He's got a big reputation. So I do think Di Maria to Barcelona could actually happen, despite his Real Madrid past, because if Barca are doing everything they can to keep Lionel Messi at the new camp, and I think if they can bring in a fellow Argentine like Di Maria, it might help. It might show Messi that they're prepared to sign big name players. Di Maria has had a mixed career at times in Europe, but he's won big trophies and he's delivered on the big occasion at times. He's a top player, so I think it could happen. I think it's one of those moves that, yes, doesn't mean it will happen. I think it's certainly got potential.
Well, speaking of big name players, they don't really get that much bigger in my books than a certain Zlatan Ibrahimovic, currently at Milan. But we know he is a traveler and he is getting up there in age, even though apparently age ain't nothing but a number when we're talking Zlatan. But can Milan get him to stay? What do you think?
I think this is pretty much a done deal. Until it's a done deal, it never is. But I think, look, Milan look like they're going to qualify for the Champions League. It's been a while since they were a proper Champions League contender. So if Milan are back in the Champions League, it's a great deal for Zlatan. I think he's going to struggle to get a better offer elsewhere. Great challenge. He had a great time at LA Galaxy and MLS, but he maybe went there too soon. He's come back to Europe and he's done well at Milan. So Milan are a fantastic football club, great club. I think Zlatan's got a great deal there. I don't think you can find a better move than AC Milan.
Here's one now that hits close to home for you. Let's talk some Manchester United and about David De Gea specifically. We've seen how Dean Henderson has slowly been integrated more and more into the mix. Just today, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in a presser saying that David De Gea is indeed in a battle to be Man United's number one. Probably not what De Gea wanted to hear. So should he stay or should he leave Manchester United?
Well, it's good to hear Solskjaer saying that he's in a battle to be number one, because I think for too long in recent years, De Gea has felt and known that he's not in a battle to be number one. I think he's had an easy ride. I think he's known that he can make mistakes and not lose his place. So it's good for competition at United that they've got two goalkeepers vying for that position. But David De Gea's been there for 10 years this year, and I think he's Spain number one. He's been Man United's number one for most of that time. He's not going to want to stay and fight for his place. So I do think that when this season comes to an end, he's got a big decision to make, and I think that he'll probably leave. But he's on a long contract. I think he's maybe got 2 or 3 years left of his contract, big wages. So I think United will struggle to find a buyer. So he'll probably end up on loan somewhere, maybe back in Spain. PSG is always linked with David De Gea, Juventus. They're clubs that he would expect to go to. I think the sort of clubs you're going to look at maybe signing him. But I think it will be a loan deal. But I think the similar thing will apply to people like Kepa at Chelsea. Again, highly rated goalkeeper, big fee, big wages that no buying clubs are able to afford, particularly in the post-pandemic era. So I think De Gea could be one of those keepers with Kepa that will go on loan this summer to a club in Europe.
And finally, here's one that absolutely annoyed our boy Stevie Nicol. Mo Salah to La Liga. We know that Salah during the international break did some interviews, expressed some desires about wanting to play in La Liga. We know things haven't been going well at Liverpool right now, even though he still does have, a serious affiliation with Liverpool and still respects Jurgen Klopp. But he's sweetened the pot a little bit, Augie. So what do you think? La Liga, a possible destination even this summer for Salah?
It's a tough one to call him, Mo Salah, because he's 29 this summer. He'll have 2 years left on his contract. So he's at that situation now where both he and Liverpool will want to know what's happening about his future. Will he get a new contract? Will they let him go? If you're Liverpool, do you give Salah a 4-year contract that takes him to the age of 33? If you do that, you're going to have to make sure that he's going to deliver for the next 4 years and perform. So it's a big one for Liverpool, because if they do give him a new contract, there's no resale value. So, in ordinary times, in normal times, this summer will be a peak time to sell Mo Salah. 29, 2 years left on his contract. So with the situation with COVID and the pandemic, I think it's damaged the market to the extent that I don't really see an obvious buyer for Mo Salah, because I think Barcelona and Real Madrid are the obvious clubs, but I think they've got different targets. We know that both Real and Barca have looked at Erling Haaland. I think Real, we know, want Kylian Mbappe maybe next summer. So I think Mo Salah might miss out on the move, because the clubs that he would ordinarily go to haven't got the money to do it, or they've got other targets. So yeah, I could see anything happening with Salah this summer, but I do think that because there isn't a market out there, he'll end up staying at Liverpool, which creates a problem for Liverpool if he doesn't continue to score the goals that he has done for the last 3 or 4 years. So it's a big dilemma, but I think Liverpool might have to give him a new contract to keep him, which again causes them a business decision to make financially.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.